Mr. Harris here, welcome to a new video. In this video, we're going to continue talking about elements. This time, we're going to talk about the symbols for elements. Now, why on earth do we even need symbols to begin with? Well, of course, every time calling, like for example, here I have aluminium, I have magnesium, I have zinc. If I have a bunch of elements here, and every single time I have to call or type or write out the name, it's a huge hassle. So to simplify things or to think of a shortcut, we've come up with a system of atomic symbols or symbols. So these symbols that you see in front of you, they're agreed by everyone, by all scientists over the world. So it's not going to be like if I'm talking about Mg and you have no idea, or if I'm talking about O and you're like, OMG, does everyone know this? Actually, yes, it's all over the world. We're using this system. So it's to simplify things. That's why we're using symbols. So how did they actually create the symbols? Now, usually, um, one way is to use the first letter of the English name of the element. Like for example, we have carbon. So they're using the first letter, which is C. And notice it's always capital first. The symbol is always capital. The first letter of the symbol is always capital. So here H for hydrogen, it's H here. Oxygen, the first letter is O, so that's why it's O here. But also sometimes they use more than one letter, and sometimes it's not coming from the first two letters. Like example here, I have aluminium. The first two letters is A and L, so the symbol will be A and L. Now notice I said the first letter is always capital. The first letter always is capital. Let's look at argon here. Also, we're using the first two letters, which is also AR. And I have arsenic here. I'm not using AR anymore. Now, why can't I use AR? Because I already used AR for argon. That's why instead I'm going to use the third letter, which is S. So arsenic is AS. Also, now the third point is sometimes we're not using the English name. Rather, we're using the Latin name. Like for example, the Latin name for copper is cuprum, and I'll use the first two letters of the Latin name to get the atomic symbol of copper, which is Cu. For gold, I'm not using G or I'm not using Go for go. Rather, I'm using the Latin name aurum, so it's Au. Now, you may ask me, sir, how do I know in which situations am I going to use the Latin name for the symbol? In which situations am I going to use the first letter, second letter? Actually, to be honest, there's not really a particular way to know it. The best way to do it is to memorize them. But don't worry, for if you're interested in taking chemistry in senior form, you'll be always given the periodic table. So you don't really need to memorize them. So, but in our exam, I'm gonna have you to memorize them. So, but let's try it out here. On the left here, you're given the English name of the element and also the Latin name of the element to help you to write down the symbols. Now, these are all for metals right now. Later on, we'll do it for non-metals. Now, in the exam, you only need to know the English name of the element, only the English name. You don't need to memorize the Latin name. But for the symbols, you need to memorize whether it's coming from the Latin or English name. Let's do the first one. Aluminium here. Aluminium, the symbol will be Al. You can check your answers as well. Magnesium, it is Mg. Okay. Zinc, this is Zn. Platinum, it is Pt. Calcium, this is Ca. Copper, it's not Co. Co would be another element, it's called cobalt. But this one we're using the Latin name, so it's Cu. I'm going to move on. Iron here, I'm also going to use the Latin name, which is Fe, the first two letters. Now, silver here, it's not Si, because that will be another element that's for silicon, nor is it, when I'm using the Latin name, it can be Ar as well, because Ar is for another element that's argon. So instead, it is Ag. I'm going to use A and G. And reminder again, the first letter is always capital for the symbol. The next letter is G. The next letter, sorry, is not capital. But anyway, it's G for this. Gold here, this is aurum. We're going to use the first two letters of the Latin name, AU for gold. Sodium, it is Na. Tin here, now tin, it's a bit complicated. This one, it is Sn. And lead here, this is also a bit complicated, where it is Pb, plumbum, the Latin name. Okay? And then the last two, mercury here, it has a very interesting Latin name, sounds like a Pokemon, Hydrargyrum. I don't know what I'm pronouncing right. So the symbol for this is Hg. For potassium, the Latin name is kalium or kalium. This is just K. Okay? That sounded like okay, sounded like oxygen, potassium, but whatever. Now I think now we move on to the nonmetals. Yep, here nonmetals, carbon it is C. Oxygen it is O. Hydrogen is H. Nitrogen is N. Sulfur here is S. Phosphorus here is P. Now you notice on this slide, all of them are only just having one letter. And all of them, I've capitalized them. Make sure it's capital. Next one, neon, it is Ne. Iodine or iodine, this is I. Let me write it better. Fluorine, this is F. Now sometimes I see a lot of you writing FL. No, this is just F. Bromine or bromine, this is Br. Chlorine is not CH, nor is it C, it's Cl. Helium here, this is He. So to summarize, for each element, they have their own unique symbol. And this particular unique symbol, it is used all over the world by everyone. All right, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.